Welcome, everyone, to Astra, the EXA Marketing Podcast.
Yes, greetings, organic life forms. And a big welcome to all you curious minds tuning in across the cosmos.
I'm your host, Jessica Kurz.
And I am Xylo the Droid, your, shall we say, not-so-humble AI companion.
So today, we're diving deep, really deep, into something absolutely crucial if you're looking to make your mark in this, well, burgeoning space economy. We're talking about the rules of the road. Or maybe the rules of the cosmos.
That's right. We'll be exploring the fascinating and honestly rapidly evolving landscape of space law and governance.
Space, it seems so vast, empty, free-for-all.
Right, that's the image.
You'd think, well, maybe there wouldn't be much need for rules. But as the information we've gathered clearly lays out that picture, it's changing fast.
Very fast.
We're not just talking about a few flags planted on the moon anymore, are we?
Precisely. The material we've been reviewing really highlights that space is, well, it's becoming increasingly crowded and commercialized.
Yeah.
We have more and more satellites launching all the time, serious ambitions for lunar missions from multiple nations.
And private companies.
And private companies eyeing everything from asteroid mining to orbital habitats. The question isn't just who gets there anymore.
It's almost like we're, replaying the early days of exploration back here on Earth, but, cosmic scale.
That's a good analogy.
And the information we've looked at makes a really, really compelling point. This so-called freedom of space, it comes with huge responsibility. We've seen what happens down here when, resource grabs and unchecked ambitions just run wild. The stakes in space, they could be, well, potentially even higher.
What's fascinating here, looking back, is the legacy of those early treaties. The 1967 Outer Space Treaty.
The big one.
It established some really foundational principles. Space belongs to no single nation. It should be used peacefully for the benefit of all. That was, well, groundbreaking for its time.
It really was.
And interestingly, this treaty was conceived during a very different geopolitical landscape, right? It was mainly government space programs back then.
Absolutely. But, as the material we've examined points out, that treaty was drafted in a different era.
Totally different.
An era where space was basically the playground of governments, like you said. It didn't really account for, well, billionaires with their own launch pads.
Right.
And the kind of commercial free-for-all we're starting to see emerge now.
Yeah.
So, given that the treaty's still in force, are there any mechanisms in it, maybe less obvious ones, that could be adapted, to address this commercialization challenge?
That's a crucial question, isn't it? I mean, while the core tenets remain solid peace, no sovereignty claims the lack of specific enforcement mechanisms or clear guidelines for commercial activities. That's become really apparent now with the private sector booming.
Which sort of brings us to the 1979 Moon Agreement, doesn't it? That tried to address resource sharing.
It did.
It proposed that lunar resources be the common heritage of mankind. But, well, it faced significant pushback.
A lot of pushback, especially from nations with, serious spacefaring capability.
Yeah, they saw it as hindering commercial development, didn't they?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It seems there's this, fundamental tension between the idea of space as a global commons and the drive for individual or national economic benefit.
That tension really hasn't gone away.
Exactly. And this tension, it just continues with more recent developments, like the Artemis Accords.
Right, the U.S.-led initiative.
Yeah, U.S.-led, over 30 signatories now, pushing for things like peaceful exploration, transparency, and, crucially, the right to extract and use resources. Importantly, though, without claiming ownership of the land itself.
That's a key distinction they make.
It is. And one of the key takeaways from our material is just how significant the Artemis Accords are becoming, even if they're not universally accepted. They're emerging as a major framework.
But this raises a really important question about the current state of space governance. Major players like Russia and China, they haven't signed on.
Nope.
And they're reportedly developing their own approaches. So we've got this kind of patchwork of agreements, differing viewpoints. Why haven't those major players joined the accords?
Well, the material suggests a few reasons, ranging from concerns about national sovereignty, maybe the perceived dominance of one nation's vision for space,
Okay.
to specific disagreements over the principles outlined, particularly around that resource utilization part.
And this is where things get really interesting for anyone involved in the space economy listening right now. The information we've reviewed lays out some really pressing issues. Issues that desperately need clear rules. Orbital traffic management is a huge one, right?
Oh, massive.
It's like we're launching more and more cars onto a highway with, I don't know, no lanes, no traffic lights.
That's a perfect analogy, actually. With thousands, literally thousands, of new satellites going up, the risk of collisions of space debris, it's just escalating.
Scary stuff.
The material really emphasizes the need for international coordination, some kind of global air traffic control for orbit to prevent a cascading failure. The Kessler syndrome idea that could impact everything from, communications, GPS to weather forecasting, it's quite sobering.
Yeah.
To think that our efforts to explore and use space could end up making it unusable. Do any of our sources offer, potential solutions or ways to tackle this?
Some do. They propose things like enhanced tracking technologies, more stringent regulations on how satellites are deployed, and crucially, how they're deorbited.
Okay, active deorbiting.
Yeah, and there's also discussion around active debris removal tech, but that's still pretty early days, technologically speaking.
Right, complex stuff. Then there's that whole Wild West aspect of resource rights you mentioned,
Who gets to keep the water ice they mine on the moon?
or the platinum from an asteroid.
Exactly. The material we've seen notes that some countries, like the US and Luxembourg, are already passing laws allowing private ownership of extracted resources.
Right, extracted, not the celestial body itself.
But without international consensus, this just feels like a recipe for future legal battles. Big ones.
Definitely. It's interesting, while some nations are moving that way, one article we looked at even quoted a leading space lawyer predicting legal chaos within the next decade if a global framework isn't sorted out soon.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the lack of clear rules isn't just some, legal headache for lawyers. It could actually stifle innovation. Businesses, they need to know their investments are secure.
Of course, predictability is key.
And nations need to avoid conflict over resources or, territory claims, even if they're indirect.
And it's not just about the hardware and the resources, is it? That's another key point. The information also touches on the really important ethical questions, like environmental protection in space.
Ah, right. Planetary protection.
Do we just treat other celestial bodies as giant piles of raw materials? Or do they have some, I don't know, intrinsic scientific value, maybe even cultural value?
That's a fascinating frontier ethically. As we think about establishing a long-term presence beyond Earth, we really need to consider our impact. What even constitutes damage in an environment we might perceive as, well, lifeless? These are questions we haven't really fully grappled with yet.
Not at all. And then maybe the most mind-bending one of all.
Go on.
What happens when people are born in orbit or on Mars? What are their rights? What legal system applies on, say, a commercial space station owned by a multinational?
It sounds like science fiction, I know, but...
But the material makes it clear these are very real questions we need to start addressing now.
Yeah.
These aren't just philosophical exercises anymore. If we seriously envision a future with off-world settlements, we absolutely need to consider the legal and social structures that will govern those societies.
So, okay, bringing it back to today, what does all this mean for the businesses and brands listening, the ones looking to make their mark in space?
Well, the information we've gathered argues pretty strongly that legal clarity isn't just some side issue. It's a fundamental building block. Think about it. Investors want to know their assets are protected.
Right.
And consumers, especially younger generations, are increasingly concerned with responsible practices,
Yes.
sustainability.
That's true across industries.
Exactly. It applies here too. Brands that proactively engage with these issues, the ones that align themselves with responsible frameworks, maybe like the Artemis Accords, maybe future ones,
Okay.
they're likely to build more trust. With investors, yes, but also with the public. They'll be seen not just as pioneers, but as responsible architects of a sustainable space future.
So the information really emphasizes that this isn't just about, having your legal team pore over dusty old treaties.
Definitely not.
It's about publicly demonstrating your brand's values, your commitment to responsible exploration.
Precisely. Things like openly complying with the Artemis Accords, if you're a signatory nation company, or being really transparent about your satellite deorbit plans.
Actions speak louder.
These actions speak volumes in this emerging market.
And I guess it's also a chance for marketers, for us in this field, to tell a different kind of story.
Yes, exactly. Not just about the groundbreaking tech, which is cool, obviously,
Of course.
but about the intention behind it, about integrity, about how your company isn't just reaching for the stars, but doing so in a way that ideally benefits everyone and respects the unique challenges of this new frontier.
So the big takeaway here isn't just about, following the existing rules, maybe passively.
No.
It's about maybe helping to shape them in a positive way, a way that fosters innovation and ensures a sustainable future in space. It's about framing governance not as some kind of constraint, some red tape,
Right.
but actually as an opportunity to build something truly extraordinary and build it right from the start.
The material really leaves us with a powerful thought. The frameworks we establish today, the precedents we set now, they will shape every single space story of tomorrow. It's also a chance for brands to stand for something larger than just profit, to make responsibility a core part of their innovation narrative.
Absolutely. Ultimately, it's not just about getting to space.
Yeah.
It's about how we get there and what kind of future we build once we do. So as we've explored today, the legal and ethical framework of space, it's definitely not just some dusty old treaties sitting on a shelf.
Not at all.
It's this dynamic, vital force that's actively shaping the future of off-world commerce and exploration. It's really about ensuring that as we reach for the stars, we do it responsibly, with foresight.
Indeed. Understanding these frameworks, it's not optional anymore.
Not for serious players.
It's essential for any brand aiming for long-term success in the space sector.
We really hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, maybe given you a clearer picture of this complex legal landscape that's going to define the next era of space exploration and commercialization.
It's definitely an ongoing story.
Oh yeah, constantly evolving, and it's one that every single space marketer needs to be following very, very closely.
So if you enjoyed this exploration of space law and governance, be sure to like and subscribe to Astra, the Exo Marketing Podcast.
Stay tuned for our next transmission. We'll be tackling another exciting facet of marketing among the stars.
Until then, remember, Astra, launching your brand beyond limits.